to page 108, Morotedori, the process. Okay. The process is very important because the footwork is very important, as in Tanahenka, and Tanahenka and Morotedori footwork is going to be in many technical movements in Aikido. In the Tanahenka, this going on to the Morotedori, there's things that you don't always see, and that they go on inside the person. So my elbow, what you don't see in Tanahenka is a subtle movement. That is, the elbow drops that way. Okay. I'll come closer to the camera just so you can see the elbow. So the hand turns, the elbow, see that elbow softening? That elbow is actually going off there. If you're the camera and you're at 12 o'clock, my fingers are pointing at 6 o'clock, see where the elbow's going. It's going off at about 2 o'clock. About 2 o'clock. And then it comes back. So it goes like an elliptical movement. Why am I explaining that now and I didn't explain it in Tanahenka? You have to be careful. You start doing that, you could start leaning forward. You can start to add faults that weren't there before. When I teach yoga, I say to people, go inside yourself and mentally relax that part. And it's not always seen by the naked eye of another, but the person feels it inside. So this is what you should be doing here. It softens, but that soften means that it's going at a slight angle. You need to understand this from Morotedori. The person comes from, I'll do it at an angle, I'll do it at different angles. The person comes to take your arm, they take it down, and the aim is for them to have a little tension so you can't move back this way, you can't twist your elbow, you can't kick them, else they apply a sort of a yonk-yo, but that's the angle of the arm pin. Their movement is that way. As they start to take down, about here, you need to stimulate that feeling. As they start to take down, you follow them, you let them take it, but then you catch up with them and you take over that feeling. I'm moving the foot just to show you, but you may move the foot, you may not move the foot, you may just go like this. But when you energize, remember there's a difference between energizing and stiffness. So puff yourself up, okay? Because it's not strength, it's not limp like this, and then you have to come from a cold start into dynamics. So they power you up, they motorize you. Hey, this is what you want this feeling. Now I'm going to talk about the elbow. You take it down there. This one is very complex because it looks like this. step behind, a straightening of the front leg, a turning of the hips, a turning of the torso, and you only put your hands out for no other reason than to save you getting kicked in the face, and this is why you look the other way. No other reason. The arms do absolutely nothing. Everybody thinks that they have to throw the person with their arms. You don't. You should be able to do this, straighten the leg, turn the hips, torso, and if this is all correct, this leg here is all correct, they will just fall over that leg. You don't need to do anything with the arms. If you can do that, then you know you're doing it without the strength of your upper body. Now here's a contradiction. It looks like I'm coming into them, turning my hips, stepping behind them, straighten the front leg, turn the hips, the upper body comes out, the foot might turn, it may not. Sometimes we offer it here and they just take it from there, but this is the basic. Take it down. Elbow now, same as the Tanahenka. Has a little subtleness of going off at 2 o'clock. Remember in the Tanahenka I said you can move the feet. You can move the feet if you wish. Or you don't need to move the feet. Okay? Each time you do it will have a different result. It will be depending on where you are. You can't say exactly every time with each person you're going to repeat the same. We're trying to repeat the same, but sometimes there'll be a little foot need moving, or something will need just adding to make you comfortable. It's not so much the technique, but you need to be natural and comfortable. You don't want to go too far outside the parameters of the technique by being yourself, but you do need to also look for what works for you. This is a complete contradiction now to what you think's going on, but remember about the yoga. So they take you down. My arm now is as if they were holding a bokken but upside down. So if you can watch the curve, the bokken would be that way up normally, wouldn't it? If they were holding it. And I'm turning it, so I've turned the bokken over. If I now try to go into them, since he used to show this with a bokken, he used to push it and say, you can't go this way because it's, you know, their strength. But he used to, with one finger, get the bokken and go that way. That way. I'm going to show you from this angle. So since he would get the bokken and he would push it and show you how strong the person would hold it, and he would get the tip of the bokken and he would go this way. It's at right angles. And he would then hold it and tip them over and throw them down. So at right angles. And yet, when you see the Morotedori done, there's no right angles here, is there? There's no right angles. So what you see is not actually what's happening. And that's why so many people struggle with understanding Morotedori. it's not what it seems. It's completely different. Well, that's my take on it anyhow, and I'm going to try and show you. Now here's the upside down bokken. I can't go into them because of the principle of what Sensei said. So why do we look like we're going in? Well, we don't. This elbow is going to drop to right angles. See? And then when I gather my body, it's going to power them forward. Power them forward. Power them forward. Remember the Tanhenka? I said you can extend, but if you go back too far, you can't power them forward. They sometimes dig their chin in here, and you have a job getting them up. To contradict this even further, before I go to right angles, to you, I'm going to do this. I'm going to step over here and I'm going to draw this with my hip. So I'm going to draw it towards me and I'm dropping this elbow. I tried to explain this in the book. Okay, I draw them off balance and then just as they're losing their balance, I drop this and turn. That's what I'm actually doing, but you can't see that. You can't see that when I go. But I am actually coming here, before I do the so play around with it. See if you can understand what I'm saying. Even with the book, even with me showing you live, you won't understand it because it goes against any of the pictures that you've got in your head. But if you try stepping out to the side, lowering the elbow, you're not moving their wrist, they're there, but it tips that they're balanced. It's doing what Sensei done with the Ken. It's making a fulcrum of where their hands are, and they go like this. And when they're about there, you can then come in here. Okay, you can then get this. All right. So you're doing this, and once this is broken, then you can power in. So without stepping here, this is for you to test. This is for you to try on your own, and then once you think you've worked it out, with a partner. I'm stepping to the side. I'm stepping to the side. Once you've worked it out, and you see that partner turning, you come in with this against their elbow, their forearm. I'm going the way of the tip of the bokken. I'm still going that way, even if you don't see me step now. And the stepping is to show you the direction, the turning, the moving in, the footwork, without the step now, without that step, the softening, I'm pulling, if you like, shouldn't use that word, I'm directing it back past my shoulder, and where this foot went, I'm thinking there with my shoulder. Okay, I don't think I can explain any more than that. If you get it right, they won't be able to block you or put their bulk on you so that you can't move them. If you enter too deeply with a big movement in, they'll block you because they're stable, you know, they've got you here, they're very stable. You've got to break their balance. You've got to break their balance. Okay, so with the book, on those, it's Morotedori preparation, I call this. Okay, and then we'll go on to we'll go page by page or set pages. You know, it's, I put my post-it notes in. Might be a good idea for you to do the same so we can all be talking, as they say, on the same page. So the reading is on page 8 and it goes to page 9. Okay, page 10, 11 shows you all the different things that I've discussed here and talked about, and Morotedori, a learning process. Okay, and on page 13 is where it ends, where you see me throwing an uke in Russia. And on page 12 it will show you just some escapes. It's about you needing to understand the direction of your escape from Morotedori, and once you learn that, it gives you the footwork to do, as it shows you here, Kodagai, Shihan, you know, it will show you an Arimanagi. These are all to do with how you blend and, you know, you move. Right, so it's all about footwork. You may not understand page 110 and how the drop of the elbow comes about. I hope this film will help you understand that. Always please comment, ask questions. This is what I'm here for. I want everybody to understand it. I didn't understand it until I slowly watched over and over again Saito Sensei doing it, and I kept thinking, why is he so smooth? Why is he so smooth? And it's because he will make it just look so easy. So you have to break him down frame by frame, and I noticed that his elbow was actually doing a different angle to where I saw the whole picture. You know, the body does this, but the first part is you've got to go away from the person because you can't go in because they block you. So the first movement isn't in, it's actually out, away. It's actually out, away, and then once you've got that turn, once they've turned, that's when you go, oh, I can go in now, because there's no blocking, there's no Ken going against this anymore, because you've gone to this corner of this window, you've gone here, and then you go in once they've lost their balance. Okay. So Please do, as always I say, do your best. Go from 108, read that first, put the film on, and then just, you know, you can read it first if you want, or read it after, or just try to remember the points about escaping. Do not enter into their space. You cannot escape. Okay? You need to escape first by going away from them, and then when they're tipped, like the picture shows on page 111, you can see the uke tipped, and that's the first page, picture 4 and 5. You'll see him tipped. That's the time you go in. Okay? The pictures just show you either doing it or I'm already in. Okay? Page 112 and 113 are pure applications once you've learned that of what you can achieve to do other techniques. Okay, the next page 114 we'll be talking about next of Taina Henko foot movement of Morotedori. That will be the next stage of the film. But let's do one at a time. Let me know your thoughts, complications. I've said this before, on Patreon, if you're on Patreon, you can do one-to-ones. You can try it for a month, 2 months. You don't have to continue the high percentage, but you can have a one-to-one for, I think it's £17–18 once a month, and we can look at these, and I can see you on Zoom and say, no, you're going the wrong way, and I can help you in anything you wish to know. Okay. Thank you for your time. Domo arigato gozaimashita.